Hey, welcome to EPS ParaTalk. I'm Robert. This is?
I'm Laura.
Gilson.
We also have two other people that you might not be able to see right now. You will be seeing them on another camera here.
They can see us.
They are on the other camera right now?
Yep.
All right, we got Danny.
Hey
Danny,
guys. Take a wave to the camera.
Thank you very much. Your camera's off the
I forget the camera's over there.
It's new. It's new.
And we also have Jeremy.
Hey guys.
We got a little bit more toys and stuff to play with on this. Thank you, Bill.
Thank
Look
you,
at there.
Bill.
Got Bill,
Sandy,
Henny, and
Marie.
Hey guys.
Bill, obviously you can see we're playing with some of the stuff you set us up with. We absolutely appreciate that. Who else just came? I thought somebody else just came on. All right, give it just a minute for people to jump on. Gilson, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Glad the holidays are over.
Oh, they're over.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Go to Walmart. It's not over.
We're over.
Hang on real quick. Robin, want to say hey to you. Kathy, Sandy, Brandon, thanks for everybody jumping on. And how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I was off today, so didn't really do a whole lot of anything. It's kind of nice.
That's nice.
Because I've got the whole weekend to work, so.
Jeremy, yourself, how you doing, bud?
Doing good, buddy. Doing real good. Just trying to get used to this.
Get used to that software. Yep. Play with it. It's awesome. Danny?
Sorry, I'm just trying to tell you.
You keep on typing, Danny. All right, you can go ahead and cut away. That'll work out fine. We've got some more, again, Bill fortunately set us up with some awesome software, some equipment that we can use that's really going to change out our feeds, what we do, make it a little bit cleaner presentation sometime. We actually have some hotkey buttons that when we want to talk about a particular item or tool or anything, we can actually just go ahead and have Jeremy hit a button if we want to talk about the Boo Buddy. Maybe everybody doesn't know what a Boo Buddy is. We hit a button.
Pull it right up.
The picture comes up so you can see that as well. We can do it pretty much anything, so it's going to be really nice. Same thing with clips. We'll be able to play clips right through it. Some short little pieces of video to be able to show people when we're talking. We talked about the temple a lot. We talked about the devil's house. We could actually go ahead and be able to shoot with a push of a button, actually have part of the screen flip right over to that and actually replay something.
That's awesome.
For everybody watching.
New toys.
And something else that we also did, you'll notice in the comments, we put up there that it is season 2 since it's beginning of the year. So we're just starting off fresh with season 2, our episode 1 of ParaTalk. We're going to be doing our best to count the episodes, so when we get to that 100, we can do something special for you guys.
Can't wait for that one, actually. That'll be a lot of fun.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, exactly.
Holly's on there. Jennifer McCart just jumped on.
Deborah, thanks for being on. Sheila.
Sheila.
Sheila's back.
Amber.
Susan.
Hey, Amber.
Amber just had a birthday
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So
Happy birthday, Amber.
Happy birthday, Amber.
I know Harry also had a birthday on New Year's as well, so belated birthday to him too.
Tom, thanks for jumping on.
Hey Tom.
So again, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Again, thank you, Bill Davis, for setting us up with the awesome stuff that you set us up with, the equipment and the software ideas. Fantastic. It's gonna be a blast. We are going to be talking about attachments tonight, so if you have questions, feel free to throw them out there. If you've got experiences with them yourself, we'd love to hear about it. Always like to hear what's going on. I'm really tickled that Sheila got to be on tonight. That's cool.
It's awesome.
Jim, thanks for jumping on with us, along with Robert. Awesome.
Jim Smith, Paranormal Spirit Finders, is on.
Perfect. He's been on several times with us now. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Prime rib pretty help celebrate. We actually had a partial season, you know,
when
the
we
very
first started.
Yeah, so
it wasn't really ParaTalk yet. It was more of us finding our way. If you go all the way back to the beginning and want to binge watch, like you do on a good
The
TV
promos.
show. Yeah.
It was ParaTalk promos.
She was right. We're finding our way.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of darkness.
It was a whole lot of interesting. Gone through some different teammates, and a lot of different things have happened over the past 2 years.
It really takes, in all sincerity, people that have put together teams, especially when you get, once you break out of the 4 or 5 person team, I mean, we 10 to 12 people, that's a lot of chemistry, a lot of different, and then of course people moving, different things happening. So it really does change quite a bit.
Hey Holly, hey Scott.
Holly will be back. She had to go jump on the phone.
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Our awesome researcher is on.
So Rob, on your phone, I'm watching your phone because you're getting
Thank you very much.
Gillespie.
Who is it?
Gillespie.
Okay.
Cerrito is on.
Thanks for joining us.
Gillespie, thanks for being on.
Scott Longman's on.
Saw him just jump on.
So
If we ever mess up on your name, we absolutely apologize. In all sincerity, we're horrible about it, and the print is so fine you can't always see everything too wonderfully.
So basically, what happens is you have
On.
teammates, you have friends that are not friends of our page. When we share it,
Yep, so we don't always see them.
Gotcha.
we won't see it. So it's good to shout them out because they're coming up. Like I have friends that's on mine that are not friends on
There you
me.
go.
So please like our page so that we can shout you out. when we
Link
see
is
ya.
in the bio.
Oh, speaking of Link, he also had a birthday.
Yes.
Link had a birthday too.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday,
Yes, he
Link.
Happy birthday,
I
Outstanding.
think that's today.
I believe so. It was today or yesterday.
Scott Longman's from London.
Hey,
All
Kenneth.
right. Good to always have connections overseas as well as up north in Canada and
Yep.
everywhere
Yep.
else.
Awesome people.
Matter of fact, Marie's from Korea,
Japan.
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 Yeah.
Definitely enjoy having everybody all over the place. Again, we're a very casual team. What you see is what you get. We don't hold anything back. You want to give your information or your point of view, you're more than welcome to. The only thing I ever ask for is to be respectful to the other viewers and be respectful to the members up here. Philip, love to have you on, buddy. You know that by far. Hope everybody
Hey,
had a great
Phillip.
holiday and everything.
Something that just dawned on me.
What's that?
You're not going to have to bring us back there anymore.
That is true.
That's
That is
awesome.
true. We
That's
got a new
awesome.
way of doing this.
I like it.
Pretty cool.
Is everybody hearing us okay? Just to make sure everybody
That's
can
good.
hear us.
It's always good to have a check. We used to have a couple of people who would always come on and tell us how the volume was or whatever. So, Jessica, thanks for jumping on.
Jessica.
Hi, Mackenzie. She's on my phone.
Bill, I had some musicians jump in on his share and be like, "What the heck?" Yeah, I'm sure that'll go ahead and mess with some minds.
Hello.
Let's go ahead and start with messing with minds. That'll be fun.
So I hope everybody had a fantastic New Year.
New Year, Christmas
A lot
time.
of us actually got to spend it together for a little while, so that
Yes,
was
yeah,
really fun to
yeah.
get to have some just
That
hangout time
was.
with the team.
That was a lot of fun.
So that was cool. So we hope you guys all enjoyed it and are having a great start to this new year so far.
Maybe when I'm not so grumpy, I'll let things be a little more casual every once in a while. Yeah, you guys get to do a little bit more.
I don't know, you gotta kind of keep us in line sometimes.
Trust me.
Brenda's on here. Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Brenda. Appreciate that. Yeah, there it goes, my little guy. Good. We're talking about attachments, so one of the things we're going to do is...
You gotta move it over.
Yeah, scoot him a little bit.
Oh, can't see it? Should be able to.
There we go.
Can you see it now? I like that.
That
That was one of my Christmas presents for my wife. I thought it was
Sure.
awesome.
Eating a banana sandwich.
Who is? Oh,
Philip
Phil.
is.
Nice.
Amber
Yeah,
had a
that
great
works.
birthday. Great to hear, by all means.
Awesome. Oh, there prayers for David Flowers' family. He had an
Yes.
uncle pass.
Oh.
That's what it was. Okay.
Very
Lots of
sorry to hear
prayers
that,
and
but
light out to
definitely,
him.
most definitely, by all means. And we're going to choke everybody out with this here in a minute. I had to turn my little guy on, though. He's cool.
Henny's asking to turn the volume up a little bit. What? We can't hear you, Henny.
You gotta speak up.
That's so rude. I love it.
We were joking before we
Close
started
the
that we
clicker.
were going to do it so you guys couldn't see us. Be like, hey, we can see you guys. What are you doing? Doing a little backwards. We joke around a lot when people don't see what we're doing.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And again, we'll be
The
able to go ahead
outtakes
and
that they miss.
be able to show you that.
Outtakes, if they only knew.
Maybe that'll be for our special. Maybe we'll go ahead
There you go.
and do
Play
quite
some
a bit of that.
Blooper.
By
That'd
then,
be
I
cool.
should have
We
known
can have
this a
some
little
other
better.
videos of the silly things that happen.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Why not?
Hopefully
Be
we
a lot
lose
of
the
fun.
video of the cat with me.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Good one.
Again, we're going to go ahead and talk about attachments. A lot of people have experienced a lot of questions get asked about attachments. When we're talking about an attachment, there's multiple attachments that can happen. One of which could be for equipment or items. Things can be attached to it. One of the questions is, can something actually become attached to any type of item?
Thank you, Brenda. We appreciate that.
What's y'all's opinion? Can anything be attached to some type of item?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what kind of attachment is that? Is it usually spirit attachment, like a person that's past their energy type?
For the most part, that's usually what we see, is that if they're attached to it, it'll be someone that has something to do with that particular item, but you can get the negative that attaches itself to something to make it harder to remove.
Absolutely. And usually when it's the negative side of the attachment that's attached to an item, it's still typically human in the sense of being human. You know, there are some other attachments, we'll talk about that too. But that's more so when you get something that wants to be very possessive of that item.
May not
The
have ever
grumpy
been
ghost.
theirs, but they're like, this looks like something I had, like the knife.
Yeah, the knife, that was pretty ironic what was happening with that. But we are going to talk about, you have different things out there. So first and foremost, for anybody who's questioning it, and again, this is our view. You can believe anything you want to believe. We will not waste time. We will not waste time trying to convince you anything otherwise. But if you want to hear what we're having to say is, yes, attachments are real. They can also attach to people. A lot of people all ask all the time, can people actually have attachments?
Philip said someone at the table there has had an attachment, but I'm not naming names.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to talk about that real quick. Well, I'm never too quick about anything about that part, but with attachments, it's ironic because I had an attachment. We had a location that was going pretty well, and then suddenly there was this particular, I don't know, like an old woman, old hag or something. You and I started seeing that very dark image at the same time at a location, and ultimately that's where my attachment came from. My wife started telling me that she thought I had somebody around me that was not a pleasant somebody, that she could see by my personality.
You had it for a while.
I definitely could have. I saw it when you came. We sell Christmas trees at our fire department, and when you came to pick up the tree that we picked out for you, and we started talking to you, we could tell you were different.
Oh yeah.
So we were at the temple. I ended up getting an attachment there. Months later, I was clueless of it, quite honestly. Months later, my wife tells me one day, hey, I think you've got something or someone around you that's not too good by far. Okay, that's one person. Very next day, Pam from Gettysburg Ghost Exchange hits me up out of the blue and says, hey, when you want to come in for, how do you say it, Reiki?
Yeah.
Reiki, whatever.
Reiki.
I always say it wrong. I apologize. Maria, thanks for jumping on.
Let's have Maria, Seeker, and Debbie. Thanks, guys.
So the very next day, I've got Pam on. The third day, Philip hits me up and goes, hey, I'm not trying to bother you getting your business or anything, but I keep seeing I get a woman that's not very nice or whatever. She's not, if she's a woman, whatever, the old hag, which he was pretty sure had come from the temple, what he'd seen at the temple as well. Plus, you guys, once we start talking about it, when I went to Pam, she turns around and she's doing a session on me. I'm going, I always feel like there's somebody else in here with me. She goes, yeah, I was going to say the same thing, because that older woman right there, she's not nice. But it's confirmation after confirmation, but I'm clueless to it. I had no idea my personality had changed. So
Well,
that's,
live streams too. We were doing ParaTalks, and there would be a few people like, there's
people
somebody
were
there.
picking up on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Dixieland, for sharing our live feed.
Thank you very much.
Jim Smith.
So it was wild how
morning.
many confirmations, like you said, as well as viewers watching, that were picking up on what was around. Janie picked up on it. I mean, everybody was picking up on it.
Teresa picked up on it.
Yes.
Hey, Teresa.
The point I wanted to make, though, is when you're having attachments, most of the time you do not know that you actually have them until somebody actually tells you about it. It's too often you don't recognize it.
In short form, Brenda, we're answering your question. Your question is how can you tell you have an attachment?
Great question. Great question. Most of the time, again, it's not going to be yourself. It's going to be those people around you. That's why teammates are extremely important to have, and teammates that can open up and tell you, hey, fortunately, I have people like Philip, Teresa. They'll
Thanks
reach
for
out.
joining us, Joy.
They don't. They're very respectful about your own business, but yet when they think it's something that's serious, they will reach out and say, hey, look, just want to give you this insight, and it's great to have. Yep. Janie, he's got an attachment, all right. So number one, as far as attachments, this is the most concerning to most people are when we get attachments, when people get attachments. How do you know? Again, most of the time you don't know it's the people around you that are going to tell you. There is a personality change that will happen. People can be harsher, ruder, more distant, more not really, very much less caring about things. That's what you were talking about. I was very cold towards you in particular. I mean, we've always gotten along great by far, and you've noticed
you were
that
always
side.
you were always concerned about our work, and you knew that I was going through some stressful time at work, and I was bringing it up to you, and you were like, okay, who cares? You're getting paid. See ya. And it was like, wait a minute, that's not you. And when you came to the tree lot, you usually reach out, shake our hands, and everything like that. You're just like, going on your merry way, and you just avoid it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. It's for a spouse that's with you all the time, you could think, well, but then when you start listening to everybody else, and she was the one who picked up on it right away and was like, hey, look, not in a bad way, but it was just straight up.
Bill.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so do I.
everybody. Thanks for joining us.
It's something to be aware of the more that you're going out there. Now, the way that we've had three other team members that have had attachments. Forgot about one of them in particular. We've had multiple friends that have hung out with us that had attachments for years before they even hung out with us.
One of my close friends, you helped her out not long ago with hers.
So attachments can stay around for unbelievable decades. I mean, there's no reason for some of them to leave.
The one client we had.
Okay, which gets to, it's not always just a human spirit, a spirit that we're thinking of on the human form. We had the client, not too far away from here actually, and she experienced it for basically about 35 years, whatever, where she had a visitation. It was, you'll hear about non-human, which is incubus, succubus, all kinds of other little individuals that run around out there that are not human. And she had the incubus that was bothering her ever since she was a young teen. And fortunately, after our visit, she's never had anything since. So anybody that's already dealing with an attachment, first and foremost to know, you can get over it. What's the matter?
Thanks for joining us, Josh. And Sheila has a question.
Okay.
Are all attachments bad?
I don't believe you should have anything. I believe so personally. My view is yes.
I would agree,
You
yes.
guys? Attachments are feeding off you. However you want to look at it. If it's something that's of whatever you believe in, for us it's the love of God, they don't need to be attached to you. They can come to you, your loved ones can come to you, and that's all perfectly fine.
They're not attached.
They're
to
not
you.
attached. There's no reason that
Thanks
a
for joining
spirit
us, Bradley.
or energy should have to be attached to you.
They could be attached to maybe an object that you had that was theirs.
Correct.
But that's different than them being attached to you.
And that's usually, most of the time, you're going to have an object that you picked up somewhere, and that's going to be, again, we're going back to the grumpy ghost, but it's still a human form of attachment, which is much nicer. Seeker has it. So just a comment, or did he have a question?
He says, guys, some attachments I feel are not evil. Children spirits just looking for help, but at the same time, I agree with you guys. Usually a cleansing can help the person affected.
Most definitely. Just be leery, and Seeker, I'm not telling you you're wrong by far, but be extremely careful about kids, things that come to you in the kid sense or kid form. We've been in contact with a lot of children, with Janie, with other people, other mediums as well, very strong mediums that have been fantastic. But to have something that's staying with you, you need to start worrying it. That should concern you. If you have a child spirit or you have any spirit that has to stay with you, that's concerning. I would heed warning on that one, personally. What do you got? Can someone become dependent on an attachment?
That's a good question.
Well, again, going back to use that as a particular. You have an incubus, which is basically a very nasty energy that's coming to somebody, in this case for sex, and they develop a long-term relationship, even though it's a bad one. By the time we were done, that client actually went through a state of depression. I know there's a term for it where you have feelings for your captor, basically. I cannot think of the name of it. But she actually underwent depression because of it was no longer coming to see her. So she did become dependent on it to a point, by all means.
Stockholm syndrome.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria. How can you get rid of them?
We are going to talk about getting rid of them. Not everybody can get rid of them, unfortunately. Some people can. Fortunately, some people that are really
She says
good.
They keep freezing up.
Yeah.
It's smoothed out. Well,
Yeah.
it froze up again.
What
It
about
freezes.
an attachment to an object? Kind of depends on the owner of the item.
Hang on, we just got interrupted. That was the delay you just saw. Let us know when we're going back. Just bear with us.
My
We're going-
Wi-Fi's not on.
Not sure why we're having this attachment issue. Now we have an attachment to our computer. We're up and running, right?
According to this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Getting rid of attachments. Good question, and again, it does depend on what type of attachment that you have. Most people will go ahead and do a simple saging as far as to try to go ahead and get rid of the attachment, and we just got interrupted again. Things are going well, and now, stop it. Oh, somebody else had it. Sandy had it. Stockholm syndrome.
We're at 37.
Guys, I apologize for us freezing up a little bit. I don't know why. We've been running perfectly fine. And we just tested out an hour
37
beforehand on
people
another page. So, bear with us. Hopefully it'll go ahead and work itself out and everything will be alright. Apologize for the freezing, guys. Timothy, Linda, who else do we have? Craig, thanks for jumping on. If you're new, please go ahead and just type new in there and we'll make sure we give you a shout out. If you see my mom, let me know because I want to make sure I give her a shout out.
Seen her yet?
We are definitely freezing up a lot.
Yeah.
Is the Wi-Fi off on both of those?
Geez.
We're just trying to check our any of the usage, trying to make sure it's going to go ahead and feed better for you. So again, bear with us. I'll repeat some of it.
If you want me to switch over to hotspot, the only thing I could think of. Other than that, I don't know what else to do.
I'm not on Wi-Fi.
All right, if it freezes up again, I hate to go ahead and restart anything.
No.
Let's try to go through this and see if it continues to go. Let me know if it freezes up again,
So
please.
Timothy has a question.
Go ahead.
If you cleanse your house, will all the spirits be removed or only the bad ones go?
Cleansing is only to remove negative energy, bad energy. It's not going to remove any of your family, friends, anything that you feel are good that are there. You're not removing those when you sage your house, you do a cleansing, you're not removing those. The good can stay. So do not worry about that part. Guys, let me know if, again, we're going to see what it
Good
does
right
here in a
now.
minute.
Well, Robin said there's video but no volume.
Can everybody else hear right now? All right, if so, just give me a thumbs up so you guys know you can hear it all right.
Switch over to hotspot.
If you do not have volume, you're going to have to jump right back on, but do not stay off. Jump back on with us. That sometimes we'll just reset it. Go ahead.
Sheila, so when my puppy passed and I kept feeling him, that wasn't an attachment, that was his spirit, right?
Correct. And there's nothing wrong with that. The attachments, you can have energies that are around you, negative energies or anything like that in a house. You can have it. Typically, you're not going to have just a negative energy that's just going to follow you from one location to the next unless it is attached. Then once it's attached, thank you so much for letting us know. We appreciate that.
Jennifer said it's my fault.
It is. I think Bill would agree.
Yeah, thanks.
He just did.
I definitely appreciate you guys going ahead and letting us know. And again, there's about a 30-second delay, so if we don't hit you right away, just bear. It takes us a minute to.
So Sandy
catch up.
believes there's something
we're
in her
getting-
yard, and that's why she doesn't like to go out. So she wants to know what to do if it's your whole yard.
It depends. Best thing to do, honestly, Sandy, and it really, depending on who you know, who's around you, or if we can network, depending on your location. There are other things that are non-human. Elementals. You could be picking up on the presence of an elemental. That'll blow your mind as well. Maria, the devil box is in the back. It's not close enough. Great question. People's yards can, but your yard doesn't even have to be. It could be, do you have power lines that are low hanging in your area? Are you hypersensitive to electromagnetic fields? That can create that feeling. But I want to go back to as far as the negative energies or anything is bad. A lot of people, the first step is to go ahead and sage. The saging, the smoke, as the smoke rises, it clings to negative energy and takes it with it. It really does work. You want to give a couple shout outs real quick?
Hey Zara, thanks for joining us. Was there another one?
Brenda was already on, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Sorry if we
Robin.
missed you. I want to make sure we
Josh.
give you a shout out.
There was a new one. Wendy just jumped
Craig,
on.
thanks for joining us, Craig.
Somebody put that they were new.
Wendy,
Um,
hey.
Barb Patterson. is
Barb,
new.
thanks for being on. We appreciate that very much.
No, Wendy just jumped on.
Definitely want to give you a shout out. Again, we're very personal about it.
If you were in the Ireland area, Seeker is over there, and he says he can do cleansings for you guys.
And there are a few people that say they can do remote cleansings. If they can, great. And matter of fact, we have a couple that usually are with us. We'll hook you up.
Yeah,
Try to-
he's doing some seances here, I believe, towards the end of January.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Love to see how it goes. What are the side effects when you start starting an attachments? You really, again, it's going to be personality. The biggest thing you're going to notice is your personality. People around you are going to notice your personality is going to change, and it's going to change more for the negative. The idea of an attachment is it's using your energy. First, start out where you get the attachments at. The reason why you're getting attachment is there's a couple of different reasons you can get an attachment, but the frame of mind that you're in is not your normal, constant frame of mind. If you're into drug use, in all sincerity, drug use can bring you down, alcoholism can bring you down, depression will bring you down, and extremely stressed, which usually goes with depression anyway. When you're at that, subconsciously just think of it that you're always on the defense, you're always protecting yourself. Once you're not protecting yourself anymore, you become open, very much like people with abilities. You know, the energies on the other side know who they can go after at that point.
Say thank you for joining us, Carl. And then Seeker said that sea salt's very effective. We do use a lot of salt. It's a good tool to have.
I use as far as getting rid of them, again, you'll get people that will sage. Some people can do Reiki.
Jennifer says new loyal fan.
Some people will go ahead and just use sage to go ahead and do it and seem to work. And it's really important to really give it a couple of weeks, because even if everything goes quiet when you first do the saging, give it a couple of weeks. After 2 weeks, basically, if you're completely free of it at that point, you're more than likely completely free of it. Don't be paranoid about it. Relax.
Hi, Nicole.
So, saging is great. The salt. Some people that go ahead and do it will encompass in what they're doing. They'll actually use a ring of salt. It does actually work. Sea salt, as was mentioned, there's a couple ways of using sea salt. It's very effective. It's a very secure element.
Just watch your surroundings before you start throwing it.
Try not to do it at eye level.
Someone may need to be pelted with it. You never know.
But it does not affect your animals. It doesn't affect anybody in a negative way. Only if it's something negative will it have an effect from the sea salt itself. But sea salt really does work for attachments. Again, first step, one is try to find out from yourself. I mean, you got to recognize what's going on with yourself, and realize you got to want to have help. If you don't want help, nobody's going to be able to help you regardless of what they want for you. You have to want it. It gets to be a mental game, because usually you kind of get worn down mentally, and again, that's part of the depression, the stress, and that's what alcohol and drugs can do to you. It can obviously bring down your mental status. So you're not as defensive, and that gives them the end to actually do something. Now with us, we go to locations, and in some locations, we do have to get offensive and push something back. If it finds an opening, like it did, it can take the opportunity to attach.
Kathy, how do you know for sure someone does have an attachment?
If you go to any of these people that are have incredible abilities, they can actually see attachments. This is the second time I've had an attachment. I know the first time I've known Pam for a little while, and kind of came in there and she's like, ooh, no. She wasn't even going to hug me or anything. She was like, stay away.
Go back outside.
It does happen. But there's additional steps that you might have to take for people that have attachments. I'm real big on cutting the energy cords. I've seen only 1 or 2 writings about energy cords. Think of your energy, and the core of your energy is in your chakra at your third eye. Think of if something is connected, you can't see it, but think of it having a string or some type of, it's an energy, we call it an energy cord, and think of something being attached to that. One thing I found out is I figured I'd go ahead and get rid of my own attachment, which was cool. I did, but my wife knew exactly when I did it because it came to my house about 5 miles away. It wasn't a good thing. So you have to learn that part, and you have to learn how to block it. And people that actually go ahead and do, if the saging works fine for you, great. That's the first step. That doesn't work. I've got a copper ring made by a shaman that I actually go ahead and pass over people 3 times. I use the saging, and I use holy water as well. Big deal. If it got to an extreme, you can actually go ahead, you do a salt circle around it while you're doing that with the person, and the negative would have to stay in the salt ring as the person steps away from it. But you got to remember also to sage your vehicle if you do it from a different location, and never do a cleansing inside your own home. As far as when you're trying to remove an attachment, don't do it inside your own house. You end up having extra guests.
I'm watching the feed on my phone here, and Craig put a comment up that's actually not showing here.
Okay.
He basically just put up there for us. He said, hello to all the new members and new live feed watchers. Welcome to the live feed. This is a great live feed. So come and hit that like button, and don't forget to share the live feed, and Happy New Year to you all watching.
Thank you so
thank
much,
you,
Craig.
Craig.
I appreciate that.
Teresa is having, or Kathy, or that's the one you just read, right? Yes.
Kathy,
No,
you're on
that's a
Kathy's
different
now.
one.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Having an attachment, is it the same as a possession? If not, could it lead to a full-blown possession?
What the difference is, an attachment, attachments don't go to the point of where oppression and possession go to from like a demonic energy or an entity. Attachment is more spirit-based, just a straight spirit like a ghost. It can be human, non-human. Demonic possession is really what you're looking at. Do you have access to the one with the girl who's got the cuts all over that I started working with, the 14-year-old?
The pictures? No.
Yeah.
They're on
on
Facebook.
here.
Are they
We
on
don't
our
have them
page,
saved
though?
on the computer. Yeah, they're
Okay.
on our page.
What can happen as far as when you go into full-grown possession itself? It's definitely something. If it's demonic, it's trying to go ahead and
Might
get control of
freeze.
your body, get control of your
Or back.
mind for its own. It wants a healthy shell that it can actually utilize, and that person's going to experience blackouts where they're only going to be running part of the time. You can see when it goes full-blown where they're bedridden, and whatever it is having their way with them, the demonic spirit side of it. You can have an entity that can turn around and mock kind
There's
of what a
bunch of
demon
questions
does.
that are just churning through.
I'm sorry.
So many. I know.
We're trying to hit these questions. I apologize.
Sandy asked if swimming in the ocean would be the same because of the salt water. If that could help.
Could it help? I honestly, because there's so much other in there. When you're using the sea salt itself in its own salt form, in its dry form itself, when you go ahead and use that, that's the purest form. In the ocean, you've got all this mixture of different. Unfortunately, it's too diluted. I know it's very salty in the ocean. I get that, but you want the actual element itself to be able to use the mineral itself, the pure mineral.
Kathy has a question. Does the person who had the attachment feel the difference once the attachment is gone?
Yes.
Most of the time, they're going to notice that they're not experiencing nearly what they, when people have attachments for a long time, they'll start becoming very familiar with the same energy, spirit, whatever it is. They start having certain things that happen, even to a point where they can have paralysis at night.
Night, Philip. See you next time. Good luck at class.
They can have nighttime paralysis and whatnot. Could be one of the effects of
Hi,
an
Robin.
attachment.
Sorry.
But typically the person will not feel any different right at that point, besides hopefully some relief. Physically, they probably will not feel it, but over the next few days, because most people that have attachments are a little shocked. They've been really worried by it, and then all of a sudden they finally start going ahead and relaxing a little bit. You can still go ahead and be in the paranormal. You don't have to worry about that. But if you start trying to get back in touch with whatever that was, or start going down the same rabbit hole, doing the same things you did that got you the attachments, you could run into a problem.
Sheila's getting tired and jumping off.
Sheila, love you. Have a great night. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Night, Sheila.
Good night,
Definitely
Sheila.
appreciate you jumping on with us.
Love you,
Brenda.
Sheila. Wave to Sheila. We can wave to Sheila now. We can wave to everybody now.
Is it true what they say that when a person passes and they become a spirit, they lose their memory?
No, I highly disagree with that by far. I mean, spirits, again, we've caught, and the reason why I'm saying this is you caught the one particular EVP in a backyard where the husband, who had been deceased for 6 years, was caught. An EVP was caught. An EVP was caught in the backyard of a client that we went to, and it was her father, and her mother was there as well. So it was her husband from 6 years prior, and he was basically singing, "I miss you, babes," and that's the way he used to go ahead and say it to him. So definitely didn't forget that.
I have
part.
a
Wendy's
tired
jumping
attachment
off
to me.
also.
Night, Wendy.
Wendy's off.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Wendy. We appreciate it.
Where do you guys get your holy water? I've only seen it in very small bottles.
We have a well.
Yeah. My wife will go through some extreme. She will definitely go to the extreme to go ahead and get very, very good water for doing the holy water. You can make holy water yourself. It's better to go ahead, and I prefer having it blessed offhand. In particular, I'm going to slant everything in our favor, just to make sure I didn't mess up on it or whatever. If you have your own minister in house, you can have your own. You can have your own holy water made. It doesn't take a whole lot of holy water to go anywhere. Even as much as I've spread around all the locations we've went, I really have not gone through crazy amounts.
Craig, there is a man standing by the gentleman who is in the white top, right top, hand side, looks like an elderly man.
Craig, if you get any,
follow you, Danny.
if you get any more details, I'd love to hear about it, because we already have one particular that we know to be here, so kind of interesting to hear. So if you get more details, Craig, let me know.
Is he mad?
Mm-mm.
Does he look angry?
So Sandy says, I went to my nephew's house for Thanksgiving and was my old self from years ago. Pulled into my yard and started getting really down again. I had a feeling of anxiety as soon as we pulled into my yard.
Some people have it about their house itself. The house seems to will pull people down, and there's an energy in your house, not usually tied to the outside of the house. It's normally on the inside, and it could be property based. It might not even be the house itself, in your case, Sandy. So something about the property itself, the first thing everybody goes to, the best or the strongest out there seems to be Native American, quite honestly. I don't know why. It's not like we're trying to blame it always on the Native Americans, but they usually have the most.
Dang
Robin,
on.
to answer your question, where do you see our videos of our live feeds that we've done? You go to our Elite Paranormal page on Facebook. We also have some stuff that's on YouTube.
We got quite a bit on YouTube.
That you can check out. We have some of our live investigations.
The
on.
links to both of those are in the bio of this video.
Yeah.
And if you scroll to the top of where you first got onto this live, you can click it so you get notified of when we do go live, so you'll be able to be right there with us when we are doing live investigations.
Absolutely.
Robin's a friend of mine from the airport. I used to work with her, so hi.
Robin, how do you know if what looks like orbs in your house is actually orbs? And honestly, Robin, and nobody's going to give you the best answer you really want to hear. It's a very debatable issue. We know there's a lot out there. Orbs that have their... We go to a location, I mean, unfortunately, dust particles, every little fiber that floats around, especially at night if you use an IR camera or anything, the IR reflects off of it, and it looks like...
Sequence.
Yes. And you'll see a lot go in one particular pattern if nobody's moving. And I mean, nobody can be moving, no doors, windows, or anything can be shut, closed, or anything, or that's going to be an effect for a long time. If everything's flowing in one direction and then you get something that comes the opposite direction, because the HVAC goes on, when the AC goes on or whatever, it's blowing in one direction and everything seems to go, you're watching for something that's going the opposite direction, having its own characteristic. That only gets you down to, is it possibly a bug, an insect, or something a little squirrely? You still have to go through that. Does it emit its own light? And you'll be able to see, especially with IR cameras, you'll kind of see the ring of the IR light itself being thrown out there. When it does not change and it keeps its own consistent color, but you have to make sure it's not right on the camera lens. A lot of stuff, 80% of what you see on right now on the internet, they'll be talking about how this ghost, this dog, this whatever is and it's a fly walking across the camera lens. I can tell you exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
you had
It's
a
a spider.
spider that was right on the camera lens.
It's because we've done it enough times. We've seen it. We know how translucent they're going to get when they get closer to a lens. It becomes translucent. You can almost see completely through it, and it's not because it's farther away. So,
If I have no fans or heat or air condition and no movement, I see stuff moving in different directions. That's from Robin.
Okay.
That's what she sees.
Craig, jump out and then back in, buddy. He said his live feed just went green.
Our
Craig,
favorite color.
most definitely. Craig, see if that does it for you. And again, I don't want you to jump off, but it really does set it. A lot of times it'll set the feedback for you, make it a little bit more.
Do we miss any questions?
Yeah, Xena.
I know there's a
Or
bunch of
Zero.
stuff coming in.
And we are trying to answer you. So if we didn't hit your question, please type it again. We want to make sure we get your questions answered. I'm not saying you cannot have orbs. Quite honestly, the ones that are more paranormal based for us have actually been more like blurs as they've gone by, whether it's been on live or we've taken still shots. You'll see it more as a blurring streak.
Zero. What's the difference from being followed home and an attachment?
Not much, in all sincerity. Spirits do not generally leave one location to the next. They have to be pretty strong as far as to something follows you home from a cemetery. Let's just say you went to the cemetery, something follows you home.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know it's not attached to you? I mean, did it go away? I mean, it really depends on that's going to be more rare that you're going to get something that's strong enough to just orientate itself and follow you and not have some connection to you at that point.
Night, Brenda.
And that's
Night,
really
Brenda.
a case-by-case basis.
Jennifer, thanks for jumping on. It's a friend of mine from work.
Guys, I believe in animal spirits. Your view.
Absolutely. You?
Definitely. We've run into many.
Yeah.
We've caught frogs, we've caught horses,
Cats,
we've
dogs.
caught cats, dogs. What
You've
else?
been pushed by dogs. I've seen cats.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's definitely
Everybody
animals.
talks about how their dog or their cat used to sleep with them. The dog used to go and run around the bed and then lay down, and they still feel it to this day. Yeah, we actually believe in animal spirits. No
Thanks for
question.
your comment there, Sharon.
We love to share what we've learned, and again, it's a learning process. We're always open to learning, so we definitely appreciate it. Again, going back to, in case somebody comes in later to this, saging can work as far as to go ahead and remove an attachment. If it's an attachment that's been there for a long time, seriously talk to somebody about cutting the energy cord, because a lot of times people will try to go and get sage, get cleaned, or cleansed, and feel okay, they're okay for a couple of weeks, and then it all comes back to full force. Normally it's just going quiet for a little bit, but it's still attached.
Craig says our auras have changed so much since the last time I seen you all. They have gotten a lot brighter. That's because the holidays are over. And we have some good spirits that were spirits.
That's still called spirits. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah, it's our best kind.
Might not be the same definition, okay?
So if I go to an antique shop, there could be a possible chance that there's something attached to something at an antique shop, right?
People that collect a lot of antiques, and I mean a lot of antiques, it doesn't happen typically with your first one, but could it happen? Absolutely. Things can attach to a non-living item. Their energy, something that somebody's had in the past, and they might not want it. They might not appreciate that it's been moved out of their location, out of the home that they used to have, and that's more of a grumpy ghost kind of thing where they're just upset about it. It's nothing you can't deal with.
With seekers, guys, there's a difference between ghosts and spirits. In some people's views, what we have heard is they believe ghosts are the ones that have remained earthbound and are still here, and the spirits are the ones that have crossed over and can come back and forth. We kind of just generalization and use both terms.
Yeah, because people usually talk about spirits being those that you can't see. Ghosts, when somebody sees an apparition, they're not, you don't see hear a lot about apparitions this, apparitions that. It's usually ghosts that they're talking about. Again, that's our view. I'm not saying that you're not right. Absolutely could be two separate things we're talking
So
about.
talking about the antique or something like that, did you show that one picture that we
Not
had?
yet.
Now,
Oh,
I
can
haven't
you elaborate on that one?
one of the items you want to do when you have antiques or you have something you think, one of the things we do when we walk in, Laura, you're one of the ones that do it, EMF fields. We check for EMF. There are certain antiques that even though there's no electricity in the antique itself, it could be a piece of wood that's been in storage for God only knows how long, 3 decades, and they put it in a house, and all of a sudden we run a millimeter by it, and every time we run the millimeter by it, there's no electricity in it, it has an EMF field.
Yep, it'll give us the EMF. It could be just as small as a 1, or it could be a 5. You don't really know, but you notice the spike when you get near that particular item.
This one, in one location that we went to, the couple, elderly couple, excellent, awesome, nice couple by far.
So many antiques.
They put it on an ottoman that was from Germany. They've had it in storage for 3 decades or 2 decades. They took it out. He had to put it back together in a room. The next day he tried to go back in the room and physically had to try to pry himself back through the door where the ottoman was pushed right up against that. It was complete wood, and it was only the 2 of them in that house. He definitely didn't. He didn't shut the door on himself. So you can explain that. That'd be cool.
Recycle shops. Is there a possibility there are attachments when you buy things from there?
Not so often, in all sincerity. You can still, again, something can, but it's more rare than it is common.
But you don't know how many times that particular item at the recycle shop has gone through hands too. It could have been someone's antique, or they could have gotten it and all the weird stuff started happening. It's like, I'm taking it to the recycle shop. I ain't doing this. You never know.
You hear more with the antiques, but it could. I'm not saying it couldn't by all means, but it's more likely with antiques. Something that's been around for a while, if it's only been recycled, as far as where you take something into Goodwill or something and they sell it off, not as common. Just saying, my experience.
Robin's got a question. It's off the topic though. Did each of us have personal experiences that led us into ghost hunting?
Jeremy, did you have any personal experiences before your wife drug you into the field?
Personally, prior, not that I would have recognized.
Okay.
So if I did have something, I wouldn't have known.
Gilson.
Yes. My personal experiences is stuff that's happened in my house where I used to live, and just driving down the street and seeing different apparitions, and going out and doing it in
Hold on, Lisa.
Going out and doing and not investigations but reenactments out on the battlefields.
There you go.
And hearing them and seeing them out on the battlefield and stuff like that. So it directed me into this field.
Hi, Lauren.
Yes, I have had personal experiences before joining the team. It was one of the things that got me interested in the paranormal. I had some things happen when I was growing up at my grandparents' house. Whenever I would be in that particular residence, I would hear footsteps and all kinds of crazy things. My cat went crazy one time for no reason. So it's a long story. I won't get into that one right now, but yes, personal experiences.
Same thing. Everywhere I've lived, we've had all kinds of stuff rocking and happening, so it's been great. Lisa, anybody say hi to Lisa yet?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Thanks for joining us. Can you explain residual? Residual energy. There's 2 types of energy when we're talking paranormal, one of which is residual. Residual is an event that has happened sometime in the past that is now basically trapped in the environment. And when the things are right in that environment, conditions are right, it will release and it will basically replay like a broken record or a broken CD for you young pups. What do you got?
Sandy hears walking.
It's just people
Oh,
upstairs.
sorry, there is people upstairs.
Do you hear people walking?
Well, speaking of which, if you, an example of residual, quite often we hear where a location has the footsteps going up. Every night you can hear it basically around 8 o'clock, you hear the steps going up, where somebody's going upstairs. Most of the time that's going to be residual. Doesn't mean it always is. But residual is not only stuck on the sound of a human, it can be stuck on a lot more. If you listen to paranormal screams, that's a human that was residual. If you listen to the one at the cemetery where we're at a Revolutionary War tomb and a gentleman says that's the price of freedom, that was residual. That was said from over 200 years ago during a burial ceremony. Yeah. It cannot interact with the living, so you don't have to worry about that.
Someone else said, I don't know who it was, I don't know where it went, but about it can be living or dead.
Not residual. Residual is not going to be, and this again, my opinion, but I'd stick by this one.
She was replying to one of Maria's posts.
Oh, into something. Gotcha. Intelligent is what we're talking about. Something that can affect you can interact with you. That's called an intelligent energy. That's something that's, you have to worry about a little bit more than not. Most intelligent energy, most of us experience in houses, 80% of the time, people want to live with them. They actually have fun with it. Just knowing something else is there.
Laura and I.
Yeah, y'all have it. Yeah, and we have people all the time. Originally, the biggest reason we used to be called to houses were people just wanted to have it documented so they knew they weren't losing their minds. They knew they were experiencing it. They just wanted somebody else to confirm they're experiencing it.
Thanks for joining us, Angie. I see your name there. I don't think we've said hi to you yet.
I don't think so either. Sorry about that, Angie. Thank you so much.
There's a tour group that
Say hi. I'm trying to keep up. There's so much
We
stuff
didn't pay
scrolling through.
You speak so low. There's a tour group that I went with in Sharpsburg, and we went past a bed and breakfast. And that bed and breakfast, they said you can hear a man walking up and down the stairs of this house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the stairs are not there anymore. The stairs are gone. And they were saying the stairs was on the outside of the house. There were wooden stairs that walked up to the hotel room and walked back, and you can still hear the noises from him walking up and down the stairs, but the stairs are gone.
Well, take it another step farther. Often you'll hear about these shows that are documenting the paranormal, where they're talking about a particular ghost or apparition that's walking through and passes into a wall. Most of the time you find out there used to be a doorway there. Again, that was residual. It was on the same path, just doing the same thing over and over.
Teresa has a question for us. I can't see the whole thing.
Teresa just put up there, any chance EPS knows any males that were around boats or possibly Navy? She thinks that's the male here.
I do not offhand. We'll find out if anybody else does and let you know, Teresa. Thank you very much. Always glad for it. Again, if you have an attachment, you feel you have it, there's nothing that's going to hurt you by getting a cleansing done. If you think you have an attachment or something, it's not going to hurt you. If somebody does a cleansing for you and it does not work, do not lose your mind over it. It's okay. There's different people out there that have different styles. Some are more effective in certain situations, and it's okay.
Sometimes it may take more than one.
Very well could, absolutely. Knock on wood, that hasn't happened. So reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. If you see somebody changing again, what you got?
Bill, I thought the boys in the background were supposed to read the comments. They're enjoying the show too much.
I'm typing.
Danny's typing. He's diligently typing these long ones out.
I don't know what's happening, so I can't read any comments, guys.
I'm trying to write the closing statement.
Yeah,
Ray, a friend of mine's on there.
We have 3 spirits. Zero said we got 3 spirits, and one is very ornery and likes to open doors and rooms and steal covers off the beds. Awesome. Okay, and that would be the grumpy ghost side of it. What do you got, Jeremy?
Jennifer just put, I have a succubus Thomas. How do I get rid of that big attachment?
We's not going there.
That's a lot of paperwork, Jennifer. That's a lot of paperwork.
I thought we missed a couple up ahead. You might have had a couple of higher. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you all let people
Go ahead.
go down one? Thank you. Do you all let people go on your walks with you? We have had numerous people go out into the field with us. We're perfectly fine with it, depending on the location. Some of the locations we go to now, we do more of the darker side. When somebody needs help, we do, we wouldn't take somebody that we did not know to a location that we did not know. If there could be something dangerous, we try to keep others away. When we go out to Shepherdstown and several other areas, if you see us out there or you want to come out with us, we're all good with that. You can use any of my equipment. I never care.
Hi, Ray. Thank you for joining us. Teresa said that it looked like it was from the Second War, so World War II,
Okay.
possibly. Sandy has somebody that was in World War II. I'm
Her
trying to
uncles
read and
were.
remember everything that's coming up. And then there's a question from Craig.
To all the EPS team, what got you all into paranormal fields, and was it scary sensation when you first felt the feelings and been able to see or hear the feel of the paranormal?
Who keeps jumping up and down? Go ahead.
It scared the crap out of me the first time, but I was young, so of course it scared me. Now it's more of an excitement when it happens.
The weird part is, I was about 7 or 8 years old. We lived in apartments, and I can actually remember the blanket, and I just knew they were coming. They weren't hurting me, but they were coming to tickle me through the blankets, but it wasn't anybody living. What I can remember at this point happened ever since. It's never been scary to me. It's made me more and more curious. I think it's awesome. It's just somebody saying your name behind your head, you know, when you're 16, 17 years old, that'll blow your mind.
Jennifer said just don't lock the equipment in the car with the keys, and she won't say what team did that.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I can't imagine. It's all good. Play through.
Mine was younger age. My family's deaf except me. We used to go to a deaf club at a church, and it was an old school building. And I used to see black figures walking through the hallways and stuff like that. And I didn't realize what it was. I just thought it was something in my head. So seeing that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's gonna be crazy freaky to most people when you. Now, if something jumps out from around the corner, of course, we're all gonna jump. Let's be real. Except for Stephanie, she still won't jump.
Oh, we haven't gotten her yet.
Something's not right with her, but that's okay. We love her. All right, I didn't see anything. I thought there was some more up higher. Again, if we missed your question, we apologize. We've had several questions come in. It was awesome. We definitely appreciate it. Don't tell me P, middle or surname.
About the.
I know where she's going with. Yeah. Okay, that's all good.
Yeah, if you're ever up this way, Robin, let us know.
Most definitely.
Yep.
We've had several people who have come to the area, whether we're based in Maryland, so you have Maryland, Virginia, the lower half of PA, the northeast of West Virginia. We've done quite a bit with several different people.
Steph says I know something isn't right with me.
This guy.
We do have the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash coming up in July. That is the 26th and 27th, I believe.
It's 3 days, so.
Yeah, 26th, 27th, and 28th, or 25th, 26th, and 27th.
That weekend.
It's the
check on
weekend,
it.
yes. So if any of you guys are around, or if someone wants to come visit during that time, we will be in Gettysburg and checking out all the local haunts up there and doing the Battlefield Bash.
Even at Gettysburg, we went out with some people. Unfortunately, it rained, so we had a lot more than we were planning on going out for. But we enjoy that. We enjoy going out to the field. And again, we go out to the field. You happen to see us. Do not hesitate. We're a person, you're a person. It's the same thing.
Bill said he's coming to the bash.
That would be awesome.
So that's going to be cool.
That would be great.
Linda Dix will be back. But what I really enjoyed about that was some of our viewers came to our table and introduced themselves to us.
Yes.
It was really cool. Sue was one of them. And, of course, we met Jennifer and Tom and, you know, the guys from Deadlight and everything else. So that was really cool. Holly was there. So it was cool to meet all this. So if you guys are going to be there, definitely find our table and introduce yourselves so we can get a face to the names that we see all the time.
And another great thing is, if you are in our area, we're right near Antietam. We're not far from Harpers Ferry. We're not far from Sharpsburg. So there's a lot of very heavy activity areas
Shepherdstown,
that we
right
can
down the
go
street.
check out. Yeah. So, definitely.
The bash is on Tom's birthday weekend.
Woohoo!
Well, Tom's going to have a heck of a weekend, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, anybody that's overseas, eventually we would love to do a field trip out there and actually spend some time out there. And if we do,
we're all trying to play the lottery.
We'll make sure everybody's aware when we go there.
Oh, we're hunting down Seeker because I'm going to Lap Castle if we're going over there.
Let's hit Zara for a second. What is doppelganger? Have you had this happen? Doppelganger is your evil twin. Everybody supposedly has it. It's something that's supposed to look just like you. People will think it is actually you. I've had people wonderfully come up and punch the hell out of me for no reason, saying and give me a different name, but not a bad name at the time. It was just they thought that I was doing something different, and I don't even know who the people are. So it can happen, yes.
Jennifer will be there Thursday as well.
Teresa said she's seeing padlock keys. Not sure what that has to do with it.
She's talking about the
same thing.
Bill wants to go live when he's in Gettysburg with us.
We'll go live with Bill.
We are going to be live, so that'll be.
Well, the big thing is, I was just thinking about this yesterday. Actually, we're going up on Thursday.
Yep.
So we're going to have a special version of ParaTalk.
Oh, there you go.
That's
That
true.
would be
That'd be
fantastic. And we can have whoever's up there with us, like Bill.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be a
Jennifer,
we can
special
rotate
edition of
people
ParaTalk
through and all.
then.
That's going to be cool. We need to start planning that out now. Yep.
We
Yep.
will have a lot of fun with that.
Dum dum dum.
Susan, I hope you do get a chance to make it. That would be great having any of you guys we could have up there. Robin, again, we enjoy Saxbridge. It does get very busy, but there's so many other locations
I like the
around that.
field outside of Saxford.
There's a lot of locations
I like
that
the field behind the Ghost Exchange up in there. That one's cool too.
we took several pretty well-known people in the field out there, out in a couple of the fields, and the experiences they had was pretty phenomenal. They could testify to the same thing now. Kathy, thanks so much as far as enjoying the show. Again, we do this because we have a lot of fun with it. We enjoy the conversation going back and forth. That's why we do everything interactive. Everything is unscripted. Everything's as interactive as we can make it.
Craig has the name Albert for the person he was seeing.
Teresa keeps hitting on stuff and just put, oh my God, Sandy. But there's nothing else come through yet.
It was before.
Yeah, it's something she's.
It was
replying to
something about
Sandy said.
padlocks and somebody being trapped.
Yeah.
I couldn't read that fast. But yeah, that's what she's picking up on. I'm
A lot-
trying.
We
I'm
got to work
trying.
on their side a little bit.
I know, I don't know what's happening on that end.
There's
Hey,
a lot of new people on tonight, so if
Yes.
you're new, share us. Share us with your friends. Let people know that we're on here Thursday nights at 7 p.m. For ParaTalk. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. I got one more piece, and when you get a chance, go ahead and bring up one of the haunted items we had offhand. When you get a
Okay.
chance,
Oh, we
and
didn't
we'll
show
finish
that
up.
yet, yes.
Well, first they're going to see everybody's name. I put that back up for all the new people real quick.
That's perfectly fine.
And then I will get the other one up.
Lisa, if we didn't call you out, thank you for being on with us. We missed you. By all means, let me know.
Image is up.
She says she's been seeing a black shadow figure. It truly scares her in her home.
All right, slow down about being scared. I know it's hard to do by far, Lisa, but try to slow down from being scared. Most of the black shadow figures are more observation only. I'm not saying nobody's had any bad run-ins with them, but 90% of the time, it's going to be just there. You tell me, when you've seen the black shadow figure and everything, has it usually been like at the corner of a hallway or somewhere where it kind of peeks out at you and kind of goes back in? If so, I'm telling you right now, you have nothing to worry about, and just demand that they go away. And if not, let us know so we can work with it.
All right, Sandy's father did work with padlocks. He was in the Navy. So
That would be
that
pretty-
would be where that's clicking
Robin,
in
thanks
right
for
there.
jumping on. She's jumping off here.
Okay, you've got the
image is up right now.
Figurines up. The figurines, if you look, you'll see right now on your monitor, on your screen, whatever you have, there's figurines. Those figurines are actually from Janie's house. Janie's our medium. Two different locations that she's lived at. They have been glued together multiple times because they have flown completely across rooms. The little man has actually done a complete 90 through a doorway and rolled all the way back across the floor up under the table where Janie was sitting. They usually sit on a little board, a little plaque
wall
like
shelf.
Yeah, wall shelf. And they have completely gone 12, 14 feet across the air.
They went around a corner once.
That's the one I was talking about,
Yeah.
actually going around
Yeah.
and rolling up under her feet in the
Crazy.
kitchen. They've been seen where they've been on one wall when she moved to the next location and walked by, and one of them would hit the wall on across next to her. So
I didn't
Secret,
hear
there's-
any dogs barking.
Yeah,
Did you hear
kidding.
the dog?
that's
Yeah,
our
somebody
dogs
was barking,
upstairs.
yeah.
I apologize. So even these in particular, these are real figurines. I've had them on my shelf for a while. They will not jump, will not do anything for me,
They're
unfortunately.
just like Janie.
So we're gonna give them back to Janie, see if they'll go ahead and do anything else.
Took a picture out.
We will in just a few minutes. We're going a little bit for an extra couple minutes. I apologize, but we're having fun.
Yes, the hour does go by fast.
Yes, especially when there's so many questions. It's
Yeah,
hard to keep
yeah.
up with everything.
Yep.
So just showing you how small. I mean, these are small figurines. They're only probably 4 inches, from the feet to the heads. Even some item like that can have some type of an attachment to it that will make something happen. To move to two different locations and have the same thing happen twice,
You're on
that's
camera still.
happened several times in each of the houses, but I'm saying
Becky
twice,
did.
2 locations. It can happen. Just know that. Nothing bad though. I mean, again, they're sitting on my shelf. They ain't doing nothing. So we'll get them back to Janie so we can see if it happened at her new house. Have fun.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's real though. I'm not kidding. That definitely happened. It was pretty bizarre. Try to go through real quick, see if you see any other questions real fast. We are out of time. We're going to go ahead and get off here in just a couple minutes. Definitely appreciate everybody's time tonight. It's been fun. This has been a really good one.
Gilson's last name spelled wrong.
I think so.
What?
I don't know. I'll look into it after.
We'll find out. I think you know how to spell it. Hopefully you noticed it or didn't notice it. We'll see.
I wasn't
We don't really
looking
pay
at it, so
attention to it, quite honestly.
If it was, my bad. I'll fix it.
Maybe it likes Jamie better.
I think it does.
I think that's true.
It's unfortunate. I kind of was hoping for some activity from them, and
Thank you, Jennifer.
they will never jump around.
And if there's anything out there that you guys want us to talk about,
Yep.
go over the tools, go over whatever. If
Please.
you've seen it the last
Send
time,
us the topics. We love to have
send us
extra
stuff.
help.
Send us some information that you want to find out. We're not tired of saying this stuff over and over and over again. We enjoyed joining our Thursday nights with you. Thank you for joining us.
I am going to nighttime work-wise, so I said this a month ago, and now evidently I am going to nighttime. So you guys are going to be carrying the flag with us for a while, ideally. So again, it'd be the same thing. Most time it's going to be more consistently. It'll be definitely the same two. You're going to make as many as you can too.
I'm gonna
Still
try, yes.
So, but if you send us topics, we'd love to talk about them. Like Laura said, that'd be great.
Yep.
Love it.
Just
Thanks
shoot
for
us
all
a
the
private
shares.
message and we'll do what we can.
Thanks for all the shares. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for everybody who's liked our page. Thanks for everybody who's gone ahead and given us a review on our page. Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks,
Maria
Bill,
has
for
a
the
question.
New system.
Oh.
I don't know. It takes a lot of work, Maria.
You're killing me.
Oh my gosh.
That was good, Maria. Thank you.
We didn't see your mom on. That
I know. I
sucks.
was really hoping my mom would get on because I wanted to tell her happy birthday.
So anybody out there celebrating a birthday, happy birthday!
See, we're saving it for you, Mom, in case you catch us at the end. But she's probably out for a birthday dinner or something with one of my brothers. Awesome, though. Again, we're getting ready to wrap up. Jeremy, you got anything, bud?
Just appreciate all the.
That was his middle name, apparently.
Danny?
Jeremy messed up tonight.
It's always my fault.
Wow.
New
Hey,
system.
Danny's not scrolling right over there, so.
It's at the bottom.
We haven't froze up anymore
It's
after
at
that
the bottom.
crazy. I don't know. Maybe it was your daughter on something that she shouldn't have been on. Some computer system up there. She was wired up. And Debbie, hey, thanks so much. We appreciate that very much.
Robin, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again. Thanks for everybody joining us. Lots of love and light to everybody that's dealing with something out there right now. Sheila, prayers for you and prayers to
David Flowers.
David Flowers
His family.
and his family. Prayers to one of our teammates, Brian and Lindsay, since they had a passing of their
Their little puppet.
their pup. So prayers to them.
Yeah.
Laura?
Thank you guys for joining us. Lots of love and light to all of you that need it, and all the birthday wishes to you guys as well. Thank you for joining us on our new year and our new season, and we're really looking forward to spend it with you guys and share all of the awesome things that we have up and coming.
Definitely. I want to say thanks to all of you guys, my teammates. Seriously, I do appreciate it. We're starting it out. You guys can actually see I do thank them every once in a while. No, seriously, these guys have really gone out of their way. They always go out of their way. There's a lot more that happens behind the scenes. But I do want to say thank you. It's
They
the
actually
very
got to
first
see
one,
behind the scenes this time.
which is cool.
Yeah.
It's one thing we do a little
Something
bit
else to do.
different. We try to include as much of our team as possible, and I really like that facet of this team, the way we do this.
There's got to be the attachment talking.
Now remember, it would have been negative. It was the attachment. It might be the demon talking. Deborah, thanks for being on with us. God bless you as well. We appreciate it. Everybody, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much. And you need to sign us.
Thanks for that.
You need to sign us out. Excuse me.
Bye. See ya. Later, dudes.
Night, guys.
Good night.
Go, go.